Hey, welcome back, or welcome in if this is your first time catching the series. You picked the right time, because this is where it all begins. Here's the deal. This isn't another overhyped, wake up at 4 a.m., drink raw eggs, and run a marathon before breakfast type of channel. No, we're keeping it smarter, simpler, and yeah, a little more fun. This series is all about building mental discipline, because sure, lifting weights builds muscle, and cardio builds stamina. But your mindset? That's the real secret sauce. Without it, everything else eventually falls apart. You know it, I know it, and your half-used gym membership definitely knows it. Think about it. How many times have you signed up in January like, this is my year? And by February, that shiny membership card is basically just an expensive keychain? Exactly. So here's the plan. Each episode will break down one piece of the puzzle. Mindset, routines, daily practices, stuff you can actually use to stay consistent. Not just for a week, not just for summer, but for the long run. The kind of discipline that makes people say, damn, what's their secret? And don't worry, we'll keep it real. No fake corporate jokes, no sugarcoating. Well, unless we're talking about donuts. I'll crack a few jokes here and there, maybe a little spicy. But hey, discipline doesn't have to mean boring. So buckle up. This is part 1 of the series. Stick with it, and you'll come out not just stronger in the gym, but sharper in life. And honestly, that's the real flex. When people think about fitness, the picture is usually pretty simple. Sweat, dumbbells, squats, maybe someone dramatically running upstairs like it's a movie montage. But here's the twist. Fitness isn't just about the body. It's about the brain. Because at the end of the day, your muscles don't get you to the gym. Your mind does. And that's why mental strength matters, just as much as physical strength. Think about it. Your arms can curl a barbell, your legs can push a sled, but none of that happens if your head says, nah, not today. That little voice inside, the one that whispers excuses or convinces you to skip. Yeah, that's the real opponent. And beating that opponent, that's where the real gains start. Now don't get me wrong, motivation feels good. It's exciting. It's that spark when you buy new gym clothes or when you watch a hype video at 2 a.m. But motivation is like a Tinder date. Fun in the moment doesn't usually stick around. Discipline though? Discipline is the long-term relationship. It might not feel as flashy, but it's the thing that keeps showing up. And that's what mindset really is. Choosing consistency even when the spark fades. Here's the thing. Anyone can crush a workout when they're hyped up. That's easy. But what happens on the days when you're sore, tired, stressed, or just plain bored? That's where mindset decides the outcome. If your mental discipline is weak, the couch wins every time. If your mental discipline is strong, you show up anyway. And showing up again and again is where transformation actually happens. And let's not forget about the long run. Fitness isn't a one-month fling. It's not about getting shredded for summer and then disappearing until next year. It's about building a lifestyle you can sustain for years. A strong mindset is what makes that possible. Because the truth is, your body changes slowly. Results take time. And only a steady, disciplined mind can carry you through that waiting game without quitting halfway. The cool part is, once you start training your mind the same way you train your body, everything begins to connect. Your effort feeds your mindset. Your mindset fuels your effort. One win leads to another. And before you even notice, you're in this rhythm where progress feels natural. That's the sweet spot, the loop you want to stay in. So if you've ever thought fitness is just about grinding harder or lifting heavier, remember this. Your muscles will follow your mind. Strength starts upstairs. And when your mindset locks in, your body has no choice but to come along for the ride. Here's the truth about fitness, or honestly, about life in general. Most of the battles we fight aren't with the weights, or the treadmill, or even the alarm clock. They're with impulses. Those little urges that whisper, skip the gym, order pizza, binge one more episode just this once. And if you've ever said, just this once, you already know how quickly it turns into twice, then 3 times, and suddenly, boom, you've lost your rhythm. That's why strengthening willpower matters. It's not about never having those impulses. We all do. It's about being able to pause for just long enough to ask yourself, do I want what feels good right now? or what feels good in the long run. And yeah, 9 times out of 10 the long run is the better choice. That 10th time, well, let's be honest, the fries might win. And that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Now here's the hack. You don't strengthen willpower by constantly battling temptation. It's exhausting. You strengthen it by making fewer battles to fight. That's where routines come in, because a good routine takes willpower out of the equation. If going to the gym is just what you do at 6 p.m., you're not standing there arguing with yourself about it. You just go. No drama, no mental tug-of-war. And it's not just routines, it's environment too. If your kitchen looks like a junk food commercial, you're setting yourself up to lose. If your phone keeps buzzing with distractions, same story. But if you build an environment that supports your discipline, healthy food stocked, workout clothes ready, notifications silenced, you've already won half the battle before it even begins. Think of willpower like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets, but also, the more you waste it, the quicker it gets tired. That's why routines and structure matter so much. They save your willpower for when you really need it, instead of draining it on 100 tiny decisions all day long. And here's where consistency sneaks in, because when you put all this together, resisting impulses, building routines, shaping your environment, you stop relying on bursts of motivation and start running on autopilot. That's consistency. It's the boring, unsexy part of success. But guess what? Boring is powerful. Boring gets results. And once you see how these little daily wins stack up, you start to notice something. Every time you say no to the short-term distraction, every time you stick to your routine, you're proving something to yourself. You're building trust with your own mind. And that trust, that confidence in your own consistency, that's what keeps you locked into the loop where discipline feels natural and progress becomes inevitable. So here's the thing. We've talked about mindset, we've talked about willpower, but how do you actually live this every day without burning out? That's where the little daily practices come in. Think of them like anchors, small habits that keep your brain from drifting off into distraction land. One of the simplest and honestly most underrated is journaling. Now, I know, journaling sounds like something a teenage poet does with a candle in the corner, but hear me out. Writing things down gives your brain clarity. It's like dumping out a messy drawer so you can actually see what's inside. When you track your workouts, your meals, even just your thoughts, you're not just recording progress. You're reinforcing your own commitment. You're saying to yourself, this matters enough to write down. And funny enough, when you see that stack of entries grow, it's hard not to stay consistent. You don't want to break the chain. Then there's visualization. And no, not the woo-woo, close your eyes and magically get abs kind of thing. I'm talking about mental reps. Athletes do it all the time. Imagining the lift, the sprint, the game-winning shot. Because your brain doesn't fully separate imagination from reality. So when you picture yourself hitting that goal, running the race, finishing the workout, even just resisting the midnight snack, you're rehearsing success. And the more you rehearse, the easier it feels to actually do it. But here's the secret sauce that keeps it all fun: celebrating the small wins. Too many people wait for the giant milestone before they let themselves feel proud. Like they can't celebrate until they drop 20 pounds, or run a marathon, or fit into that one pair of jeans from high school. But the real momentum comes from the little victories. The day you showed up when you didn't want to. The week you hit all your workouts. Even the moment you chose water over soda. These small wins are like fuel. The more you notice them, the more momentum you build. And when you put it all together, journaling for clarity, visualization for motivation, and celebrating the little wins, you start to create a feedback loop, a rhythm that keeps you moving forward. Not because you're forcing yourself, but because the process itself starts to feel rewarding. The discipline stops being this heavy burden, and instead, it becomes part of your identity. And that's the point. You don't just practice focus. You become the kind of person who's focused. And once that clicks, staying on track doesn't feel like a chore anymore. It feels natural. And when it feels natural, that's when you know you've built something that can actually last. So, you've got all of this now. The mindset, the willpower, the daily practices. And yeah, it sounds simple on paper, but I promise you, Putting it into action is where the magic happens. Because the truth is, this series isn't just about fitness tips. It's about rewiring the way you think, so you can actually stick with this lifestyle long term. And before I drop a suggestion that will make your life so much easier, let me ask you for a quick favor. Just drop a comment below. Say whatever you want. Could be your favorite lift, could be your worst excuse, could even be an inside joke only you get. Doesn't matter. Every single comment helps push this video out to more people who actually need it. That's more brothers, more sisters, more humans out there getting the truth, instead of wasting their time listening to some shirtless clown on TikTok telling them lies. So yeah, hook me up with that. And in return, I'll keep giving you the real stuff that actually helps. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This episode is part of a bigger journey. In this series, we're digging into mental discipline, mindset, routines, focus, the inner game. But if you've been with me for a while, you know we just wrapped up another series before this one. That was Hard Truths of Fitness. And man, that one hit people hard. Because in that series, I pulled the curtain back on the things nobody wants to admit. The stuff that's really holding you back from seeing results. And the crazy thing, once you hear those truths, you can't unhear them. You start spotting them everywhere. In your workouts, in your excuses, even in the advice floating around online. That's the beauty of these series. Each one connects to the next. We're building layer by layer. The last series gave you the truth. This series is giving you the tools to handle that truth. And in the future, we're going even deeper. More topics, more series, more practical ways to not just train harder, but live better. So if you haven't already, subscribe and stick around. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Now here's my suggestion. If you really want to lock in everything we talked about today, you need to understand the foundation. And that foundation is in the first episode of the last series. The real reason you're not seeing gains. That's where we talk about the problem that almost everyone faces, but no one wants to admit. If you don't face that head on, all the discipline in the world won't save you. So do this. Click on that video right there on the screen. Not the random one YouTube's algorithm tossed up. The one I'm pointing you to. Go watch it. That's where the next piece of your puzzle is waiting. I'll see you there. And until then, train smart, stay disciplined, and as always, stay a chimp.